Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. Thank you for joining me wherever you are joining me. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. And if you're joining me on the YouTube channel, make sure that you like, make sure you subscribe. Want to just take this moment to send a heartfelt thank you out to everybody who wished me a happy birthday on Monday, whether you did so on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, wherever you reached out just for a moment of your day to say thank you, or to say happy birthday. I really want to say thank you. A lot of you I've never met in person, and the fact that people still take the time out, it's a small thing. We know we're on social media all the time. I still always want to say thank you. So if I didn't say thank you directly, allow this to be my direct thank you to you for wishing me a happy birthday. And 43 has popped off. I ain't gonna lie to you. It has been nonstop from the start. Right now, Daniel Jones signed a contract yesterday that is essentially a 4-year deal for $160 million. A lot of details of the contract haven't come out outside of the signing bonus. He'll get 80-something million up front. It's interesting, right? Because this contract has now, for some reason, brought Lamar Jackson into the conversation about contracts. And I think it's interesting because these two quarterbacks and these two quarterbacks' contracts should not be compared. They should not be compared. Daniel Jones and his contract and his situation are completely different than Lamar Jackson and his contract and his situation. Let's start here. Lamar Jackson's not signing for $160 million. Even if it was a fully guaranteed $160 million contract for 4 years, Lamar Jackson's not signing a $160 million 4-year contract. That is laughable. Some of y'all are out there probably saying, what do you mean? That's $40 million a year, guaranteed. Yeah. And the market dictates he should get more than $40 million a year. Based off his play, he should get more than $40 million a year. Based off of the going rate, he should get more than $40 million a year. But let's go back to this. Stop blaming Daniel Jones for Lamar Jackson not having a contract. It's not Daniel Jones' fault. Daniel Jones wanted the money that he wanted. Daniel Jones wanted the security that he wanted. He got what he wanted. Now, I'll say this. Nobody else is going to say it. The Giants got held up. The Giants got robbed at gunpoint. If I sat down in a room in an honest moment with Joe Shane and Brian Dable and asked them, do you really believe that Daniel Jones is the guy to get you not to be on the team with, but to get you to a Super Bowl, that he is the difference between a playoff caliber team and a Super Bowl team, I guarantee you both of them would say no. Now, obviously, I have no proof of this. It's just me talking. So kill me. You can kill me. This is my opinion. I don't mind. I think in an honest moment, both of them would tell you that the smart thing for the Giants would be to let him go, to let him walk, to put that transitional tag on him. Well, not even put a transitional tag on him, because the problem with the transitional tag is if nobody takes him, Now you're responsible for that money on the books. To let him go back in the draft a young quarterback, as my light falls, draft a young quarterback that can develop while you figure out the rest of the dynamics of your team. I really and truly believe that the statistics that Daniel Jones put up could be easily duplicated by so many guys in the NFL. There are a lot of guys out there that could run for 700 yards and 7 touchdowns, that could throw for 14, 16 touchdowns, that could not turn the ball over. There are a lot of those guys out there. Those are mediocre numbers. Outside of the 700 rushing, that's not mediocre for a quarterback. That's really good. But with the advent of more athletic quarterbacks in the NFL, now that these guys are getting more of a chance than they got in the past, this isn't brand new world. This isn't something that we couldn't see. His production could be duplicated easy. His biggest value is to the Giants, which is why it was so imperative for them to get the deal done with New York. And if the Giants were really smart, they would have called his bluff. Hey, we're not putting a tag on you. We're not going to protect you. Go out in free agency and find it out. If you really believe you are worth $40-something million a year over 4 or 5 years, per year for 4 or 5 years, then go out there and prove it. You prove it. Then give us the chance to match it. Or don't give us the chance to match it if we don't want to. Just prove it. This is what we're going to give you. If I'm the Giants, I would have probably stopped somewhere around $20 to $25 million. I know y'all are going to say that's disrespectful. I don't know when it became disrespectful to pay a mediocre, middle-of-the-road quarterback, middle-of-the-road money. If the top-end quarterbacks are getting $40+ million, then why are the second-tier quarterbacks coming in at $40? If the top-tier guys are going to get $40+, then why are the second-tier guys coming in at $40? Doesn't make any sense to me. I'm not paying you top-tier money, $40 million a year on average. I don't care how you want to shuffle the cups around. It doesn't matter to me how you shuffle the cups around. At the end of the day, if he reaches the end of this contract with no incentives, it's going to be $40 million per year they paid him. That's cool. The applause goes to Daniel Jones. He called their bluff. Hey, I'm not signing for less than, right? I'm not signing for less than. You're going to have to come up to keep me or franchise tag me. And now franchise tag me and not be able to protect yourself from keeping your running back. He used, by the way, Daniel Jones camp, they used Saquon Barkley as the shield. They threw him into traffic. They threw Saquon Barkley into traffic so that they could live. Because by them holding up this negotiation, right? By them holding up the negotiation to the 11th hour, there was no chance to really and truly and honestly negotiate with Saquon Barkley. Because Daniel Jones was going to be their first domino. Now, if you ask me, Saquon Barkley should have been the priority. But I know you people out there don't believe running backs matter. So, whatever. Now they've got an issue on their hand. They put the transitional tag or whatever they call the tag for Saquon so that Saquon could negotiate with other teams. If I'm Saquon, I don't negotiate with anybody. And that brings me back to Lamar Jackson. We can't blame Daniel Jones for Lamar Jackson not having a contract because Lamar Jackson doesn't want Daniel Jones money. And what Daniel Jones makes doesn't have anything to do with what Lamar makes because Lamar is not in his league. Daniel Jones is here. Lamar is here. There is no comparison in where they are in their career. Lamar is more accomplished. Lamar has better stats. He looks better when he's out there playing football. When his team, who has just as many receiving weapons as New York has, who does not have the same level of running back as New York has, who has a better line, but they're partly better because of the guy who's behind them. What are we talking about? Lamar Jackson's contract is interesting because if you try to compare him to Daniel Jones, then the obvious pendulum swing in the blowback is, well, he turned down this. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't know what he turned down. All we have are reports from people who did not get it from Lamar Jackson because Lamar Jackson is representing himself. These leaks, when there's stuff put out, they're not put out by the players. They're put out by agents. But Lamar Jackson doesn't have an agent. Isn't that what y'all all keep saying? It's hard for him to get to know what's going on because agents have ears in all of these locker rooms, and Lamar Jackson doesn't have ears in the locker rooms. Like Lamar Jackson can't pick up the phone and call any and every player in the NFL. Like Lamar Jackson can't pick up the phone and call the Players Association and ask the Players Association for advice. You people are ridiculous. If you think that Lamar Jackson went into this contract negotiation ill-prepared to deal with the various ramifications of actions, then you are idiots. I don't know any other way to say it. We do this thing where anytime somebody that doesn't look like the status quo does something different, we all go, he's stupid. Yet this is the exact same situation that Kirk Cousins found himself in Washington, except Kirk Cousins was nowhere near as good as Lamar Jackson was. He had no reason to have the same level of bravado and of, I'm going to stick to my guns for the contract that I want that he had. And yet he was there. And Washington said, hey, we'll call your bluff. We will franchise tag you not once, but twice. And that man made over $70 million in 2 seasons, cashed in, and got another team to pay him boku loads of money. He is older than Lamar Jackson is. He's not as good a player as Lamar Jackson is. Oh, well, but Lamar Jackson has been hurt. Did you guys know that there's a certain quarterback who's 39 years old who apparently is being courted by the New York Jets, who has been on the injured list many, many times in his career? No one's ever called him injury prone. Did you know that there's a young quarterback out there who has already missed time with significant surgery-needing injuries, and yet nobody said, he's injury prone, when it's going to hurt his money when he's time to get paid? Every 5 to 10 minutes, we keep changing, we keep shifting the goalposts when it comes to these black men doing something that has never been done. I'm not big on conspiracy theories, but I'm big on logic. If a black quarterback that you don't believe is intelligent, that you don't believe understands the business, that you don't believe has an understanding of the game, if he's able to pull off a fully guaranteed $200+ million deal without an agent, then why do we need agents? If he's able to pull off this level of deal with all of the machinations and all of the complications that come with the deal of this magnitude, if he's able to pull off that deal, why do we need agents? If he's able to pull off this deal, then the domino effect is, right? Justin Herbert's got to get a fully guaranteed deal. Right? Right? Because y'all think that Justin Herbert's better than Lamar Jackson, even though he's not. You think he is. So if Lamar Jackson gets a fully guaranteed contract, then Justin Herbert's going to need a fully guaranteed contract. Right? And if Justin Herbert needs a fully guaranteed contract, you know Joe Burrow's getting one. Because all of you have all of a sudden acted like Joe Burrow is really black. Got all the swagger. He wears a loud suit. He gets praised. He wears a loud, obnoxious suit. He gets praised. Cam Newton was doing it. He's too flamboyant. He should worry about winning games. Lamar Jackson, what happens with his contract has so many dominoes, has so many different layers to it that it's in the NFL and their 32 partners and the agents that represent for it not to go down the way that it's going down. But here's the beauty of the contract for Lamar Jackson that nobody talks about. He's aiming for this fully guaranteed contract. If he does not get this fully guaranteed contract, he'll descend on a contract that's still going to pay him way more money than Daniel Jones' contract is. So his soft landing, his parachute out of what he's asking for is still ridiculous money. But don't give me he's going to cripple the ability for the team to build around him. It's not his fault that you wasted his 5 years not building around him. It's not his fault that you wasted his 5 years going out and getting free safeties, trading away assets for linebackers, instead of securing him a legitimate, bona fide number one target outside. That you kept going out here drafting Oompa Loompas and Lollipop Guild members and trying to throw them out there to be receivers. It's not his fault that guys are getting injured. It's not his fault that his left tackle can't stay on the field. It's not his fault that one of his best interior offensive linemen decided to retire earlier than most people thought he would retire. It's not his fault that you signed these defensive players to massive deals. It's his time. So just like Daniel Jones put on the ski mask and held up the Giants, Lamar Jackson should put the ski mask on and hold up the Ravens. Ladies and gentlemen, the franchise tag for Lamar Jackson is more money than he made in his entire rookie contract. So even if he doesn't get a long-term deal signed and he goes into this year on the franchise tag, he's going to make more money this year than he's made in his entire life. That is a win. This is what I want to see Lamar do, because it's not a comparison. Not to Daniel Jones. Not to Daniel Jones. And by the way, what Lamar signs for is not going to make Daniel Jones' contract look like a bargain. Because in the end, Daniel Jones' contract is what you give somebody when you feel like you're a quarterback away, and the Giants are not a quarterback away. They're not. They are a bunch of pieces away. They need help up front. They need help in the linebacking core. They need help in the secondary. They need help at wide receiver. They need help on the offensive line. If you need help in all of those places, you should not be signing a $40 million a year quarterback. Oh, I'm sorry. Because this year's not going to be $40 million. Cool. $18 million. Okay, cool. You can really build a championship team with that. People over there giving applause to Joe Schoen for this contract. Meanwhile, I know Joe Schoen probably did not want to sign this dude. He got bullied into signing this dude by owners, by fans who were delusional because of a winning season. When if we actually really examined the winning season, won on the front end, lost on the back end, got the best matchup they could possibly get in the playoffs, and won a game. Then got waxed. Then they got waxed. Call a spade a spade. This Lamar Jackson contract is fantastic because in my mind, I'm seeing him do this. Listen, I'm going to bet on myself. I'm going to take this $30-something million this year. It's more money than I've ever made. Boom. That's a guaranteed contract, 1 year. Then I'm going to come back in this second year and I'm going to ask you for more money than I asked you for this year. Because you didn't pay me my $250 guaranteed this year, I'm asking for $300 next year. Put the franchise tag on me again. But this time that franchise tag is going to be damn near 50. It's going to be 40-something plus. Oh, you want me to play under that? Cool, I'll pay for 40-something plus for this 1 year. Now in 2 years, I've made close to $80 million. 2 years. Slide it to the side. Year 3, you're not franchising me. You can't afford it. You're not franchising me. You're either going to give me my fully guaranteed $250 million contract at age 28 that you should have given me at age 26, or you're going to let me walk. And then let's see how many teams are interested. Because right now, all those teams have to give up something in order to then get him and sign him. Nobody wants to give up 2, 3, 4 first-round picks, first-round and second-round picks, and then have to sign somebody to a $250 million full and guaranteed contract. That's how teams cripple themselves. All the capologists out here keep telling you guys that the quarterback contract does not cripple the salary cap. You know what cripples salary caps? Releasing players. When these guys release all of these players to save a few $1 million, what they don't tell you is they're still getting hit millions of dollars on the back end that they can't now spend. They get a little bit money back, but they don't get it all back. If somebody has an $18 million contract, and you cut them and it saves you $6 million, that means $12 million you don't get to spend. That's how people are screwed up with the cap. That's why the Giants are in cap hell. Not because they have a bunch of overpriced players, but because they have a bunch of guys who no longer play for them that are still hitting on the cap. By the way, that's not Dave Gettleman's fault. Dave Gettleman didn't fire those guys. Dave Gettleman didn't get rid of them. The new regime did. So now you reap what you sow all over the place. But this Daniel Jones and Lamar Jackson situation are not the same. Ladies and gentlemen, we should applaud Daniel Jones. He did what he was supposed to do. He got the money that he wanted. He got more money than he probably deserves. But that's normal for quarterbacks that look and play like him. What Lamar Jackson is trying to do has not been done. Even Deshaun Watson's contract was negotiated by a go-between, by an agent. So these things are not the same. We need to stop comparing them like they are. And what we need to do is get comfortable with the uncomfortable. Lamar Jackson's not signing for the numbers that you want him to sign for. Lamar Jackson is going to sign for what he wants to sign for. And it sure as hell don't look like Daniel Jones' contract. Daniel Jones has the ski mask on. He had the pistol in hand. It was a stick up. Lamar Jackson is coming to take over the bank. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. You do this thing a few times a week. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. And if you're joining me on the YouTube channel, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Until next time, peace.